Well, guys, we're about to kick off the conference finals. So, I guess it's time for me to give my thoughts on both series. So, let's start with the one that kicks off tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. The Denver Nuggets traveling to LA to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Since there are only two matchups, I can spend a lot of time here. Alright, so let's start with some of the key matchups here. Really, every matchup in this series is going to be key, but you have Chauncey Billups against Derek Fisher. Now, there's no doubt that Chauncey Billups is a better player. He always has been, is right now, and probably always will be because Fisher's on the way out of the league, obviously, at this point. However, it's a good matchup for Derek Fisher because Derek Fisher had issues with players who could drive to the hoop, players who are very quick, like Aaron Brooks last round, like Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Rajon Rondo. He can't keep up with these guys. He's not a bad player, he just doesn't have the skill set for that. Billups and Fisher play a similar type of game. Really, the only thing Fisher does anymore is spot up and shoot. He's a pretty good shooter. Sometimes his jumper does go cold, maybe a little too often, but that's what he does. Billups kind of does the same thing. Billups' main weapon is his ability to hit jump shots, although he is good at controlling the ball. He's pretty good at distributing. So, obviously Billups is a much better player than Fisher, but because of the style, maybe Fisher can actually defend Billups with some level of competence. And then we have the shooting guard matchup, Kobe Bryant and Dante Jones. Now, the Kobe Bryant mismatch here is humongous. I don't know who the Nuggets are going to throw at Bryant trying to guard him. I don't know if it's going to be Dante Jones because Dante Jones is actually supposed to be pretty good at defense, but I don't know if he can keep up with Kobe. Maybe they'll, throw Carmelo at him. I don't think that's going to work out too well. Maybe it's Billups. Maybe they throw J.R. Smith at him, but that would just be awful. So, who are they going to put on Kobe? Who's it going to be? I don't know. I don't think they have anyone who can stop him, and that's going to be huge. We have Carmelo Anthony on the other side. Now, the last two rounds, he's had very good matchups. The New Orleans Hornets couldn't really throw anyone good defensively at him. They had to use Stojakovic a lot. They tried to use Posey, but Posey has been garbage for about 3 months now. And Denver had nobody who could play Carmelo. That's why he went off in that series. This series, he's going up against Trevor Ariza. And LA can actually throw multiple guys at him. They can go for Ariza. Ariza is considered to be a very good defender. They can go with Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom's a pretty lengthy guy, pretty quick. He can keep up with guys like Carmelo. And you have even, Kobe. I don't know if that's ideally what LA wants, but Kobe is a good defender. There is a size difference there, but it's not huge, so maybe they could live with that. But Anthony has some matchup issues in this series, I think. They have people who can guard Carmelo. The bigs down low. It's going to be interesting because the Nuggets big men, Kenyon Martin and Nene Hilario, are insane. They like to get in the face of people. They like to intimidate. They try and be all fearsome and tough and mighty and stuff. That's the kind of stuff they go for. They don't put up amazing stats or anything, but they're very intimidating presences. Gasol and Bynum, well, Gasol is like the other way around. He's very, very productive, very, very skilled, great player, an all-star caliber player. No way around that. But he's not an intimidator. He doesn't like to get down and bang bodies. He likes to let the stats speak for themselves. And when you watch him play, you will notice, hey, he's got a great jumper. He's a pretty good rebounder. He's very skilled. He can use both hands. Just a gifted big man, but he does not like to get down there and bang bodies. So Martin and Hilario, I like to just call him Nene. I think he should just go by that one name like Cher or Madonna, Nene. But Gasol could get intimidated a little bit. And then you have Bynum, who could be that kind of player, the kind of guy who gets down low, grinds it out, makes it difficult for you down low, plays defense, gets putbacks. We don't know yet. We haven't seen enough of Bynum, but he's going to be significant here. But really, I think in terms of pure talent, Martin and Hilario kind of cancel out with Gasol and Bynum. I'd actually have to give a little bit of an advantage to the Lakers there. But maybe Martin and Nene could get inside the minds of the LA big men. So you look at the bench. The sixth man off the bench for the Lakers is Lamar Odom. And ideally, you would compare him to Birdman because they're both bigs. And Odom, maybe you can intimidate Lamar Odom because those three guys, Martin, Nene, and Birdman, are good intimidators. And maybe you can intimidate Lamar Odom. Maybe that's another place where Denver can win this series because Odom, maybe he's not 100%. He didn't score very well in the Houston series. So it's a thought. But the Nuggets sixth man, J.R. Smith, we all know how much he likes to hit those long threes, how he likes to just come off the bench and drop 10 points in half a second, just light it up for a couple minutes and then cool off. Just really, really an awesome player to have coming off your bench. So I'm not totally sure what the Lakers are going to do here to try and stop him. Maybe you just try and stick Kobe on him because Kobe's that good defender. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's going to be Ariza if Anthony's out of the game, or you have Odom on Anthony. But this LA team does have some bodies they can throw out there on those kind of guys, but it's very tough to defend a guy like J.R. Smith because he can take 30-foot jumpers. Further down the bench, you have Vujacic, who's more like, who more realistically is like a J.R. Smith because Vujacic is all about shooting threes. And really, also, Vujacic has annoying man defense. J.R. Smith doesn't really have that, but Vujacic has been struggling a little bit this year. He hasn't been as good as he was last year, so I don't totally know what to expect out of Sasha, but when he looks on the other side and sees that the backup guard on the Nuggets is this guy who can come off the bench and all of a sudden just throw up 18 points, he needs to know, I need to hit some threes, I need to get some buckets, I need to play well. Because that's a huge advantage for Denver right now. Sasha can change that. Sasha can make it a lesser advantage because Sasha has the skills to knock down lots of threes, so there's no reason why he can't do it. Moving further down the bench, you have Jordan Farmar and Anthony Carter. I like Farmar better, but I'm not huge on either, so I don't know how much will be decided there. But, you know, Billups and Fisher are both kind of old, aging, so they could wear down a little faster, and these young guys will have to come out there and fill in a little bit. LA can also throw a guy like Josh Powell out there. I don't know if Denver has a good ninth man. Maybe it's Kleza, but I don't know too much about him. I do kind of like Josh Powell. Also Luke Walton. I mean, I'm not a huge Luke Walton fan, but you can't throw him out there. So the Lakers run a little bit deeper, but those three guys that come off the Denver bench, well, really two, Birdman and J.R. Smith, are just out of this world. As far as bench guys go, you couldn't ask for much more off your bench. So that's the matchups. You know, what questions? I really want to see how Carmelo does in this series because Carmelo, to me, he still has to prove that he can step up big time in the playoffs. I know he did in the first two series pretty well, but I expected him to go off because those teams had nobody who could stop him. These teams do. These teams can throw Ariza, Odom, maybe Kobe at him. He needs to step up against that. It's going to be hard to drive the hoop with those big men they have. Gasol, I know he's a little soft, but he is a big man. Bynum, Odom, even Josh Powell, because I kind of like Josh Powell. Who else? That's really about it. This Laker team needs to hit their threes. Obviously, they were on and off in the Rockets series, but they seem to get better. I think a huge key to the series will actually be Trevor Ariza hitting his threes, because Trevor Ariza gets a ton of open threes. So he needs to hit them, because he's definitely going to get them, because people tend to leave him open. Bynum's obviously a huge key. I think the biggest X factor here is probably going to be Trevor Ariza ultimately, and my pick is going to be the Lakers in 6. I think for the first 5 games, the home team wins, and then LA wins in Denver on Game 6 to close it out, and that's that series.